What's going on, YouTube? This your boy Q from the Light at the End of the Tunnel channel. And today I'm going to be talking about doing whatever it takes to stay sober. What am I going to be doing to stay sober today at this very moment in time? Am I going to be willing to sacrifice? Am I going to be willing to pray? Am I going to be willing to get motivated? Am I going to be willing to stay focused? Am I going to be willing to do the things that need to be done, which consist of everything? I need to be willing to do everything. I need to be willing to go to any lengths. I need to be willing. In order to be willing, I have to have willingness. I have to have drive. I have to show qualities that I have to create a whole new identity. I have to be willing to do it all. I have to be willing to pray, sacrifice. I have to be willing to change my people, places, and things. I have to do whatever it takes. If I want to stay sober today, I have to be willing to create a whole new life within my life as I know as it is today. I have to be willing to change everything. You have to be willing to change everything. You have to be willing to give it your all, give it your best shot, give it the old college try. You have to be willing to do that, because if you're not willing to do that, no one said that staying sober was going to be easy. No one ever said that, but we all said that staying sober was the best thing that ever happened to me, the best thing that ever happened to us. Always remember, it's never a you program. It's a we program. You're never alone. You're never by yourself. You always have a supporting cast members that's right by your side, that's living and practicing the sober life just like you are. You have to be willing to give up everything that you've known in your life and create a whole new life within. You have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to give it all up. You have to be willing to give it to God. You have to be willing to do these things, because if you're not, it will never work. You will always get 30 days in relapse. You will always get 60 days in relapse. You will always get 6 months in relapse. You will always get 18 months in relapse. You will never get longevity sobriety. We want longevity in our sobriety. We want successful sobriety. We want emotional sobriety. We want spiritual sobriety. We want physical, mental, spiritual sobriety. We want financial sobriety. We want emotional sobriety. We want sobriety. That's what we want. That's what we're chasing. That's what we can have. And that's what we got to be willing to do, the things that we're going to be willing to not do to get this form of sobriety. And a lot of the things that I do, the principles that I practice is I pray every day. I have to be willing to pray every day. I have to be willing to get on my knees and pray to a higher power every single day. I have to be willing to do that. This is a higher power. It's not man-made. This is a higher power this is a creative power. This is a higher power. Facts. I mean, it's facts. I mean, it's no other way that I can put it. And we have to be willing to do the things that need to be done to achieve and to manifest and to bring these things to fruition. We have to be willing to do. And in order to do these things, we must set ourselves up in a place to where it's not easy, but we have to set ourselves up in a place to where it makes it easier for us to do these things. People, places, and things. You can't go around those people. You can't go to your cousin's house. You can't go to your best friend's house. You can't go to that gas station. You can't go to that same old, you can't go to that park. You can't go to that store you used to go to. You can't go to those people's houses that you used to play to. You can't play dominoes on a Friday night. You can't go. You can do all of those things, but you have to be able to do these things with your whole new circle of friends. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be doing those things. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going to that park. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going to the state fair. You're going to be having those sober friends that's going to be going to those restaurants. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going out of town. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going to those casinos. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going on the Airbnbs. You're going to have sober friends that's going to be going. You're going to have a whole new community of sober friends that's going to be willing to that's going to be doing everything that you want to be doing. You're going to have that. And you have to be mindful of that. You have to stay focused. You have to be laser sharp. You have to be on your tiptoes. You have to stay 10 toes down. You have to go hard. If you're not going to be willing to do that, then you're not going to be able to get longevity sobriety. Are you going to have the discipline to get up and eat? A lot of us are not used to eating. We're losing weight. Are you going to be willing to get up and work out? Are you going to be willing to get up and read a few chapters? Are you going to be willing to get up and read motivational help books that need to be done? Are you going to be able to get up and reflect on the passages that you just read? Are you going to be willing to get up and clean your house? Are you going to be willing to get up and fill out those job applications? Are you going to be willing to get up and do maintenance on your vehicle? You got to make sure your vehicle is up and running. You got to do maintenance on the vehicle. God is not going to bless you with new blessings if you're not taking care of your old blessings. You got to be willing to take care of your old blessings. You got to take care of the stuff that God has already blessed you with if you want to attain and manifest and bring into fruition the new blessings. It's facts. So, like I always say, people, places, and things. We got to be willing to change those people, places, and things. If we're not willing to change those people, places, it's a lot of people's houses that I never go to. It's a lot of people's houses that I never even, when they see me, it's on Facebook. They drop a comment. That's it. That's as far as it goes. When they see me, it's in traffic. Yo, what up? I keep it going. That's as far as it goes because they're still living the old life. I'm still living. I'm now in creating my new life. We have to be able to create a whole new life for ourselves. You're on day one. Perfect. Let's roll our sleeves up and let's get to work. We got to be able to get to work. The same way how we was going hard in the blistering cold. It was freezing cold. It was cold. You meet me at the store. The man said, meet him at the store. You met him at the store and you waited. He kept telling you he was down the street. He told you that 2 hours ago and you stayed there and you waited for that fix. You had to get that fix. Well, guess what? You got to get the sobriety. So guess what? I'm going to do whatever it takes to stay sober today. All I have is today. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about what happens today at 3:30. I'm not worried about what happens tonight at 7:30. I haven't made it to tonight at 9 o'clock tonight. I haven't got that far. I'm worried about right now at 9:15 a.m. This is where I'm at. I'm sober right now at 9:15 a.m. today. A lot of us get caught up in the future tripping. You can't be future tripping. You can't be worried about what's happening tomorrow. You can't be worried about what's happening next week. You can't be worried about what's happening next month. You can't be worried about that 6-month goal. You can't be worried about that 18-month goal. Well, yeah, when I get this 18-month chip, well, yeah, I'm about to have 2 years of sobriety. Well, man, I'm about to get 60 days. I can't wait to just get 3 weeks of sobriety. I have to be worried about today. I'm doing Friday things on Friday. I'm doing things at 10 a.m. because right now it's 10 a.m. I'm worried about right now, the here and now. And that's that's the name of the game. We stay in the moment and we stay where we need to be in that present moment. We do. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier. Facts. It's facts. So we want to be mindful of these things when we're living this sober life. The sober life is, I wake up fresh. I just wake up ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm rejuvenated. I'm reactivated. I'm ready to go. I'm motivated. I have high ambition. I have goals I need to achieve. I have things that need to be done. I have projects that I'm working on. I have so many things that I'm working on at the present moment. I don't have time management. Time management is so big. I had to manage my time because time is the one thing that I could never get back. So I manage my time. That's why I get so offended. It's so disrespectful when people waste my time. Why are you wasting my time? Don't let people waste your time. Time is of the essence. Time is precious. Time is your best friend. Make time your best friend. Compromise. You got to be willing to compromise. When you're letting go of bad habits, you create the bad habits with new habits. Maybe, for this sober life, I've created a whole lot of great new habits that I love and cherish to this very day. I love my new habits. I love these new sober habits. I love being a workout junkie. I love being able to read new books and new material and new documents and new passages. I love being able to go back and reflect on the material in the passages that I just read. I love being able to do that. I love being able to wake up and not being hungover anymore. I love being able to pass an unsuspected drug test. I love the sober life. Sober life is the best life. You have to be able to accept that you can't go out and drink 2 beers. You have to be able to accept that you can't go to your friend's house and just drink a bottle. You have to be able to accept the fact that you can't go to your friend's house and smoke 2 blunts and 3 blunts and 3 joints. You have to be able to accept that you can't just take 2 pills. You have to be able to accept the fact that you can't just take a half a pill. You have to be able to accept that you can't go out and sniff 2 lines. You have to be able to accept the sober life. The moment that you accept it is the moment that we can roll our sleeves up and get to work. We are not going to be able to get to work unless we have acceptance. We have to accept these things. We have to. And so for me, I accepted it. And once I accepted it, I also accepted spiritual help. A lot of us don't want to accept the spiritual help. Your friend can't do it for you. Your mama, she love you, but she can't do it for you. Your kids, they love you. They can't do it for you. Your employer, he loves your work ethic. He can't do it for you. The only person that can get it done for you is God. Your higher power is the only person that's going to be able to get it done for you and keep it done for you. It's like money. A lot of people can get money. But how many people can keep money? A lot of people can get money, but how many people can keep money? It's no different with sobriety. A lot of people can get sober, but how many people can stay sober? A lot of people can get sober, but how many of us can stay sober? The name of the game is to stay sober. Facts. For me, on my journey, I get so worked up and fired up because it's passionate. The sober lifestyle and sobriety for me is passionate. I'm passionate about sobriety. I love to get up and pray and cook and clean and eat and work out and play with the dog and clean the house and look at my car and sit on the sofa and fix the love seat and vacuum the floor and take the dog for the walk and read this and study that. And I love to do all of this kind of stuff because my old life, I never was doing this kind of stuff. I took so much. The sober life lets me be able to cherish the things that I once took for granted. Things that I once took for granted, I now love. Whether it's just getting up and cutting on the news. I never done that when I was in active addiction. That was the last thing on my mind. That was the last thing on my mind. Reading books never was done. In active addiction, I never thought about that in active addiction. I never did. But now today, I can do that. I get to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Having a valid driver's license. I get to have a driver's license. I get to pay bills. I get to get up and cook food. I get to get up and clean the house that I own. I get to get up and play with my dog. I get to get up and go to work. I get to get up and put gas in the vehicle that I own. I get to get up and eat. I get to get up and work out. I get to work on my credit. I get to save money and have a savings account. I get to do all of these things. I get to do this because of my sober life. You see, when I was in active addiction, I didn't get to do none of these things. I did not. I took all of these things for granted until I lost all of these things. Until I had to take all of the, wins and losses. It doesn't take much for me to win in this sober life. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. I keep it simple and plain. I keep it simple and plain. For the sober life, you have to keep it simple. Keep the sober life simple. You do. You want to get you a nice supporting cast of people around you that have the same principles, ethics, qualities that you possess, and you do everything with these people. You want to do everything with these people, whether it's going to the casino, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's going to that restaurant, whether it's going on a travel vacation, whether it's at that Airbnb, whether it's wherever it's at, you go with your sober friends. You go with your people from your sober community. If they're not sober, you do not go. If you're going to a friend's house, if they're not sober, you do not go. A lot of us get caught up with underestimating the power of our addiction and overestimating our willpower. A lot of us get caught up with underestimating our addiction and overestimating our willpower. We don't want to play those games. We don't want to entertain those thoughts. We do not want to do that. We do not. You never want to underestimate the power of your addiction. Oh, you got 60 days, so now you feel like you could go over to Tay-Tay's house. You can't go to Tay-Tay's house because Tay-Tay is still doing the same exact thing that Tay-Tay was doing before you got that 60 days. So you can't go to Tay-Tay's house. You can't go to Fufu's crib because if you go over to Fufu's crib, Fufu is still doing the exact same thing before you got that 90 days. So you can't go to Fufu's crib. You can't go to Black's house because Black is still doing the exact same thing that Black was doing before you got them 3 weeks. So before you got them 3 weeks of sobriety, you got to stay away from Black's house. You can't go to Black's house. Where you can go, you could go to Chad's house and you could go to Chris's house because Chris has sobriety. Chad has sobriety. You understand what I'm saying? Takesha, you can go to Takesha's house because Takesha has sobriety. You understand what I'm saying? You got to make sure everything that you're doing is within the sober realm of your whole new lifestyle that you have created. It comes down to people, places, and things. You understand what I'm saying? Facts. It's some places I don't go to this day. You can pull up at the gas station and just sit and park, and all of those feelings and emotions of all of the good times will come back. But won't none of the bad times come back? And your brain will trick you and tell you that it's going to be different this time because now you have 3 days of sobriety. It's going to be different this time because now you have 2 weeks of sobriety. Now you have 1 month of sobriety. Now you have 90 days of sobriety. Now you have 6 months of sobriety. Now you have 18 months of sobriety. It's going to be different this time. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You got to change it all up. You got to change everything. Change. Change is key. Change is essential. Change is instrumental. Change is everything. Change is life. To change, it's to live. To change, it's to stay sober. You have to be able to change. Facts.